afterwards
Right
with a, congratulations party and a baby shower for her. So,
That's great.
because he works in a place that's not all military.
You can do the children's books and I'll hawk the other stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean,
All the other books.
I mean, it can,
Okay.
none of mine were early.
All
They
right.
always say, I mean, anything happens while you're like,
Yeah.
You guys ready?
yes, sir.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
We certainly can. I'm not going to sit here and stare into space like last time. John Krischer.
Here.
Marie-Claire Gorham. Here. Susan Murphy.
Here.
Phil Pardue.
Here.
Mary Jo Williams.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay. Let's have a pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, first order of business is going to be, before anything else is, I'm going to need a motion to pull item 5 again, the contract, the agreement between Moore Rebel Yodel regarding the Harrison Memorial Library's intended residential project. If available, it's going to be brought back at a later date. Probably the new board will have to deal with it in next month. So if I could have a motion that we...
Do we know what the holdup is?
I don't have the slightest idea. I really don't.
As I understand from the city attorney, it's just slow going and all the details are being examined. So no one sticking point or anything like that, just being thorough.
Okay.
All right, so can I have a motion?
Make a motion to hold item 5 for a future date.
Okay. Can I have a second on that?
I second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Marie-Claire Gorham.
Yes.
John Krischer.
Yes.
Susan Murphy.
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to public appearances. Any public appearances? Nobody in Zoom?
Let me double check. Nope, no one.
Okay. All right. Announcement of trustees. Any trustees have any announcements?
It's just been a pleasure serving with you over the last 8 years, and it's been a great board. I think we've, over the last several years, it's probably been the best I've seen, and it's been a pleasure working with you. I wish you luck, because you're going to need it.
Thanks, I think. Do we thank him for that? I'm not sure. Seriously, thank you.
Yes.
I want to also echo those thoughts, as my email lets you know.
Yes. And
one-
thank John and Phil for all their service and all their
Yes.
help.
Yeah. One thing I hope that you really keep working on the board, Saturday hours. As my time as president, that's one thing I've heard the most about, the Saturday hours. I think they're just so important to the community. And I wish the board a lot of luck, because there's a lot of cuts coming in the budget, and I hope you all fight together to hold the library, because it's very important to the community. And it's meant an awful lot to me over the 30 years, so I hope that the board just keeps pounding and make sure that the library keeps vibrant and going. And I'm sure with you in charge, it'll be going that way, and you, McLeod, and Susan.
Well,
So thank you
Yes, I
again.
think it's the board's work, but thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil. All right. Let's move on to the approve the minutes from the April 23rd regular meeting. Any changes to them?
Make a motion to approve the April 23rd minutes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Go ahead.
I second.
All right, let's have a roll call, please.
Marie-Claire Gorham.
Yes.
John Krischer.
Yes.
Susan Murphy.
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
It is unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Now we receive the librarian's report for April 25.
Do we have to approve the special meeting minutes, or?
Yes, we do need to
Okay,
approve the
we'll do
special
it.
meeting
Sorry,
minutes.
just to,
We could have done them all as one
We
bundle,
should have
but
did all as one,
That's
my
okay.
Sorry.
mistake.
That's okay.
All right, we'll have a motion to,
Make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes.
Seconded.
all right, have a roll call, please.
Marie Claire Gorham,
Yes.
John Krischer,
Yes.
Susan Murphy,
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
All right.
It's unanimous.
Now we'll move on to the librarian's report. Thank you.
So for the librarian's report, no big announcements there. Slight dip in adult circulation, bump up in kids circulation. This was the month of Easter, so we saw people traveling during this month, and then we also saw kids off of school, so more kids in the library. So depending on your circumstances, you could have been out of town. So we see these bump ups and downs whenever there's the holidays or time off. If there's fall break with kids, we see more foot traffic and things like that. Are there any questions about librarian's report overall? No big anomalies there. Okay. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's move along to the treasurer's report and check register.
Just going to say, in general, looking at this month as well, that we would run lean. To my math, expenses came in 13% under budget. So that's doing great. And yeah, efficient spending. And yeah, we're on track to stay lean.
Anybody?
Yeah, any questions?
All right. Then we'll have a motion to approve the check register, please.
For which month? Check register for which month?
Oh, I think April 25th.
Make a motion to approve the April check register.
Can I have a second, please?
I second it.
Roll call?
Marie Claire Gorham,
Yes.
John Krischer,
Yes.
Susan Murphy,
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
All right.
Thank you.
Alex, could we have the Public Library Foundation's recent activities?
Good morning, trustees.
Morning.
So at our last meeting, we approved our budget for 25-26. We approved the slate of officers. We also approved 2 new board members. And we approved to move forward and to release the funds for the Centennial Restoration Project for Phase 1. A lot of approvals. And we're continuing to work on raising funds for the Centennial Restoration. We're working with the city to help finalize the architect agreement as well. And we're also working on new programs for next year, including the annual speaker event. And that's it. That's what I have so far. Any questions at all?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see a report from the Library Relocation Ad Hoc Committee.
So on behalf of the ad hoc committee, work continues apace. We have 3 potential locations, and we are still trying to get some of those details nailed down so that we can bring a full report to the Board of Trustees for further discussion, so that when we do start to move forward with a renovation project, we have things planned out and situated for where library operations will be held for continuity of operations so that it's seamless. Any additions to that, Mary Claire or Mary Jo?
We've been doing our tours.
Yes.
Yes.
Excited. Yeah.
Asking lots of questions,
Yes.
making more charts.
On the library on tour.
Yes.
So we have three places, right?
3
sir.
places, yes.
Okay. And which one really, Sunset Center is probably the best, you think?
I think remains our simplest solution, but it still is.
Yeah,
we're
so thankful that the community is, in some cases, has stepped forward when they heard about this project and said we would be interested in hosting you. So the spaces that we're talking to people about and considering and asking questions are the Sunset Center, Church of the Wayfarer, and the Carmel Youth Center. And again, grateful that when we first started this process, we weren't sure if we were going to find a space in town, and now we have 3 to compare and contrast against, and 3 really great community partners that we work with. Church of the Wayfarer used to host the Friends of the Library author visit and tea before the Carmel Public Library Foundation did this. So we have these established relationships. Sunset Center obviously hosts a lot of the library programs and city meetings. And then Carmel Youth Center, we have partnered with them on children's programs before. So all of these make good sense, and we're going to continue our studies as we go forward.
So do y'all have a earliest possible move date in mind so you can start working? Because I know it's fluid right now, but if everything goes well, what would be the earliest date that you think you'd need to move in? Are you planning for it?
So based on, I mean, the goal, ultimate goal is to complete a renovation in 2028. So working backwards from that date and time, probably mid-2026 or fall of 2026 would be when we'd want to move in, because we still need to go through the design process with the architect, and we still need to go out to bid for a contractor, and the bidding process alone takes, between 3 and 6 months depending. So we've got some time ahead of us, and that's something that we have communicated with the Free Spaces, is that while we're doing this now, to be ahead of the game and again ensure continuity of operations, we're still a bit of a ways off, at least a year out from potential occupation of another space.
Okay.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time, but we like to do our due diligence, and that plenty of time though will go quickly. It will go very quickly to ask these questions and to make sure that if there's programs happening in spaces, that we've found alternate locations or solutions for accommodating those types of things going on within a library space, which makes sense in a lot of cases. Having the equipment we need, shelves, all of that. So it will be fast.
All right, once you get the architectural contract done, you'll have a better idea what your timeline will be.
Exactly. Yeah. But right now we're telling the people that we're talking to year and a half out.
Okay.
I mean, John, you commissioned us to start working on this almost a year ago, recognizing that it's going to be one of the very first questions, right? What's going to happen to the library operations when all this is happening? And we need to have a pretty cogent answer sooner versus later. But it is hard. They're all great spaces. They all have some great benefits, but they all have some drawbacks. So it's, I think, and it's just trying to figure out which is really the most viable.
Yeah, what's
right. And as John, again, getting this started earlier rather than later, the wounds of having the library closed for, during the pandemic are still there, and nobody wants to see the library shut down again.
Right.
And so we want to keep operations going in a different location. I would love to see us be closed for only a week in between, because we're so well organized, we can just open right back up again. Keep things going.
Yeah. So it's
all right. We'll move on then. Okay. Let's adopt the 2025-2027 strategical plan, which reading it, a lot of work went into it. And I appreciate everybody that served on it. You guys did quite a fantastic job.
Thank you for that, President Krischer. We didn't receive any major feedback from the public. I had a few grammatical things here and there, formatting things, switched this around, which those were incorporated into the strategic plan, but nothing. And I think we saw this when we did our 2 community outreach meetings last spring at this time, where we saw low attendance and participation, partly because mainly the things that people want to see are Saturday hours, and then that list of programs that fit in within our objectives. And so again, we'll continue to do what we do. I think our staff does very well, is listen to the public on a daily basis so that we can recalibrate our operations. But I feel very proud of the work that went into this plan. We had a very dynamic group of strategic planners. I appreciate all of the work that the trustees put into going through this line by line at the last special meeting. And this is something I think would be great, especially with the just uncertainty, especially with economics and state library. We talked about with our financial policy, doing more in-depth quarterly budget reviews, especially if we want to pull back on amount of money needed from the disbursement from CPLF, to also be doing quarterly reviews rather than semi-annual reviews of the strategic plan. And I have started a work plan for this staff for year 2025 to assign out objectives and to start talking to everybody about that once this is adopted. And that's a plan I spoke about last month about bringing back to the Board of Trustees so you can see what that looks like.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we went through it. I guess we made a couple recommended changes, like to the mission statement. I don't know if there was anything else through there. Those changes have been made, no others.
All of those
Basically,
changes
it's
have
what
been
we've seen
made.
before.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts
No.
about it?
No.
No, it's a good plan.
I feel good about it. I feel like it's a solid plan that we can really make some headway on over the next few years.
Yes. You had community input, which has really helped that way. So it's out there. All right. So we have to have a motion on that or anything?
Yes,
Have a
please.
motion to adopt the plan?
Make a motion to adopt the 2025 strategic plan for the library.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Can I have a roll call, please?
Joe and I have.
Marie
Joe and I
Claire
are
Gorham.
trading off.
Yes.
John Krischer,
Yes.
Susan Murphy,
Yes.
Phil Pardue,
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now we move on to the next one, the adopt the fiscal year budget for 2025, 2026. Any comments from anybody on this before Ashley?
So we went through the budget for over the last two meetings, the last regular meeting and then the special meeting that we had last month. I have made those recalibrations as we discussed with Flipster, parks passes, elimination of that service. I'm supposed to, this week, I checked this morning and was checking last night before I left the office. The New York Times estimates are supposed to come in this week. So unfortunate timing for a budget adoption. I think we should still move forward with it. We can always adjust at the start of the new fiscal year if needed. But I don't think there's going to be no changes. I made some slight recalibrations. We had some new invoices. We get invoices at this time of year to apply to the next fiscal year for some of our databases, and costs went up just a tad bit in some areas, and so I made those recalibrations. But no major changes since you last saw the budget. I think this provides us with enough funds, ample funds, to continue to do the great program that we've been doing for both kids, adults, and teens. Summer reading included in that, and adequate funds for both ebooks and a balance with those and hard copy materials. Any questions about the budget or things that we didn't discuss last?
I think the
Last
budget
month.
is, looking it over, for what we're looking at with uncertainty, I think we're attacking it the right way, because a lot of things are still very uncertain. But we should go forward with the New York Times, do that. And I think, Mary Jo, probably, maybe even this fall, you're going to have to go look at it, maybe an October meeting, and just look at yourself where you stand. It's going to be, this year's going to be a very fluid thing till everything straightens out. And with the economy,
Right.
we don't know what's going to happen. So I think I'm all for the budget. I think it's very well put together. And it's the needs, the things we got rid of were dropped, had to be with the present fiscal climate. And I think we've all discussed it very well. You people have been very, very involved with this. So any questions you guys, the rest of you have about this?
No question about this specifically, but as we did when we dropped Hoopla, how do we communicate the changes?
Yes, so we already have a language and plan in place. In fact, a newsletter is going out tomorrow.
Okay.
That talks about Hoopla sunsetting. We didn't have anywhere near the usage of Hoopla did, so I can't imagine there'll be. Yeah, with Flipster.
And the parks passes.
Right. And parks passes, we thankfully have through the summer and the fall.
Right. Which is great.
Those will sunset in December.
Okay.
If they sunset.
If they sunset, and a new board could say we want to fund this after all, so things could change. They're up in the air, but for the time being, the parks passes are fine. We don't really need to do any communications about those until the fall, and Flipster will get the word out starting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
Good, thank
Because
you.
those passes are funded by California State
Right,
Parks.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The present situation, I don't think they're gonna fund it.
I would be surprised, but
I really would
Yeah.
be too. Any other, Susan, do you have anything to add to that? All right, then I guess we could have a motion to adopt the budget.
I so move.
All right,
We adopt the budget.
Seconded.
okay. Can I have a roll call on that, please?
Marie Claire Gorham,
Yes.
John Krischer,
Yes.
Susan Murphy,
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
yes.
It's unanimous, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's move on to our last item here. We're going to consider of two budget adjustments. $5,300 from 83,000 author visit to 41000 future furniture for the children's bench seating reupholstery. And two, $15 from 66,100 to OCLC cataloging to 62,0100 teen fiction and teen wonder books. You want
So I
to-
typically don't do budget adjustments this late in the year. However, what I am projecting at this point, because of the additional interest income, additional income from friends, is that we are going to be, one, under our budget overall, but especially under with those numbers. And I feel comfortable doing this budget adjustment at the end of the year. Some of these things were requests for next fiscal year that I realized that we could probably, because of the lower dollar amount, accommodate in this fiscal year's budget when I was doing my projections out in March and April and tracking all of this. The children's bench seating reupholstery project, if you haven't been into the kids department, those benches are well used.
Yes.
They are not only a little grimy, which could do with some cleaning, but they're threadbare in places, and so it's time for reupholstery. Those were originally, those are original to the building when it was renovated in 1989. So I'd say it's fair,
It's time.
fair after 30 or 40 years to reupholster those benches. We've gotten quotes for those, and I think that we should move forward with that. The second item was a request from the teen librarian for Wonder Books. We have been working very hard on recalibrating that collection. We don't have a teen audio collection. When we had at one point had teen audio and teen DVDs, and those got incorporated into the adult collection. This is all pre-pandemic because they weren't getting used. But we've seen such great usage of Wonder Books with the kids of all ages. You know, we've got chapter books, we've got nonfiction books, we've got picture books, we've got all the kinds of, you know, anything that you see in the kids department, we've got the audio-visual version of it. And then for adults, you know, we have, you know, kind of an equivalent. We've got our large print collection, and then we've got our audios. And so the teen librarian proposed trying that for our teens, whether that's, and we talked about, you know, for pleasure reading, for school, how does that fit in? And she's been talking with the high school librarian about potential for Wonder Books for that. You know, instead of Cliff Notes, Wikipedia, what if you could toggle between, you know, actually reading the book or listening to it, depending on, you know, going back and forth. So we want to try that out to see how our teens will feel about that. We're also going to be purchasing within the current budget we have now, some Spanish, English graphic novels, which I'm excited to add to the collection for teens. We come back for our next regular meeting in June, I will be bringing to the board a report out on where we are at the end of the year. We still need to add funds, and I didn't include this there. I wanted to focus just on the budget adjustment for the collections and the upholstery, but a better reckoning of where we are after summer reading spending has started to wind down. Collection spending, we've got at least $21,000 of orders that have gone out that aren't reflected yet here in what you're seeing for end of year spending for hard copy collections. But we need to do a transfer to rebalance the 6-month operating reserve. So that will be coming forward at the end of the fiscal year. And then again, working within the bounds of the financial policy to let the Carmel Public Library Foundation know if our disbursement can be reduced so that they can hold on to those funds and earn interest income.
Okay, good.
So, but that's why that's not included. We will be doing that either at the June regular meeting or July regular meeting, depending. Any questions about these budget adjustments?
No, so it's for this year.
It's for this year, for this
Not
fiscal year,
next year.
not for next year. It's for this
Yeah.
fiscal year.
If you look at the upholstery in the children's library, it can't wait. It's got to be done now. They've showed it to me a couple of times, and I'll have to admit it's not that pretty. So I think that's a great thing we have to do right now.
And it's the upholstery that's in there, I'll point out from a logistical perspective in the kids department, it's fabric. It was Scotch guarded at some point, but the more things that you have that can wipe down very easily with Cheeto fingers and things like that, the better for everybody.
All right. Anybody else have any comments? All right. I have a motion then to make the budget adjustments.
So I move that we make a budget adjustment for this year,
All right.
so we can get more books and upholstery done.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Marie Claire Gorham.
Yes.
John Krischer.
Yes.
Susan Murphy.
Yes.
Phil Pardue.
Yes.
Mary Jo Williams.
Yes.
All right. I think that is it.
Unanimous.
Future agenda items?
Future agenda
Yeah, I was going to
Yes.
say future agenda items, but that's
That's
up to you three to figure out which one.
So my recommendation is that on the next meeting, you have a update for the new members on where we stand on the project to get the library remodeled as it went forward, both where we stand in the negotiations, timelines, what you're doing, fairly in-depth as you go forward. And then also I recommend that the Saturday hours, and that's the one thing that that the community wanted, and that was the one thing we didn't look at this year, which we probably should have. But for the do we have the manning? What's the holdup? What needs to be done? And what's the risk if we don't get to Saturday hours?
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, I thought we had it made, because the council gave us 4 part-time employees, and I thought we were on the way last year with the budget, and all of a sudden it just didn't go through. So that's everything I hear yet to this day is we have to have Saturday hours. And that's so important to the community. And I can't understand why we don't, but what it is, it is. So.
And just on the, going back to the first item, and make sure that the foundation has an opportunity to lay out their plans for the fundraising, how it goes, because so much depends on them and what they need out of the board going forward.
Yes, and the board to work with them on the design inside, in the community, make sure the community is really involved. That's going to be quite a project.
And as you work through this, the foundation's responsible to their donors, the mayor and the city council are responsible to a wider range of constituents. The only people that are going to look after specifically the patrons, because it's your sole focus, is this board of trustees as you go forward. So there's going to be a lot of pressures there as you go through, because everybody has their constituency they need to satisfy, which are the only ones that are solely focused. I'm not saying the foundation isn't concerned about the patrons, but you do have donors. But the board is the only one solely focused on the patrons.
Very well said, Phil. Very well said. Anything else?
So yes, I actually do have the fiscal year 23-24 audit report. We can either wait till the new fiscal year and I'll work with Mary Jo on that. As I mentioned earlier, end of year report, potential end of year report for June, and then election of officers.
Okay.
They want to do the audit the second meeting, not the first meeting. You're going to have a lot to go through.
I don't know.
But I'll leave that up to Mary Jo, of course.
Yeah, Miss Mary Jo handle it.
We're getting used to
The board will handle it.
4-hour meetings. Yes, we will. I will work with Mary Jo. Yes.
Anything else? All right,
Yes.
meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.